The first thing I noticed was that Chung Dahm seemed to be imposing completely unrealistic deadlines onto me for obtaining my visa documents. So, like, my criminal background check took approximately 3 weeks to arrive in the mail, and my apostille verification took about 3 or 4 days to be completed. So that was like a total of about 3.5 weeks. Plus, I needed to allow for postage time, getting it to them. And despite all this, Chung Dahm like every single document that I needed to provide them with. That they wanted it done in such a short time frame, and it was completely impossible. So, like, it might take 2 or 3 weeks to get your criminal background check, and they wanted it done within 5 days. So that was like that seemed really strange to me, because it was I couldn't speed up the process. That's just how long things take. So that was in the beginning. That was one thing that I noticed that I thought was strange, and when I got to the end of my the recruiting process, I also remember that after my visa code was issued, they wanted me in Korea like about 4 days later. So once the visa code is issued, you have to send your passport with the visa code off to the Korean embassy or go there in person, and it can take up to a week to actually get your visa in your passport. So, like, the visa code had just been issued, and they wanted me in Korea 3 or 4 days later. So that was, like, completely unrealistic. And I really didn't know what to make of all of this bad organization. And every time I told them that I couldn't make this deadline and that it was completely unrealistic, Chung Dahm seemed to get quite frustrated and annoyed with me that that I couldn't provide them with these documents in time, and then they were angry with me that I couldn't attend the training week in Seoul like a week earlier because because I couldn't get my visa in time, which there's nothing I could do about that. So anyway, that was the first strange thing that I noticed, that this really crooked organization, everything was completely unrealistic. They were impatient, and they had no concept of how long things actually took. Like all the bureaucracy that I needed to take care of, they had no concept of how long those things actually took. So at first, I wasn't really sure what to make of all of this bad organization, but I sort of gave them the benefit of the doubt, and I thought, well, maybe all these things take different amounts of time. They have teachers coming from the US, Canada, UK, lots of other countries. I thought maybe they didn't have that much experience recruiting from Australia, and they didn't really know, how long things took. So that was just my wild guess. To sort of rationalize things in my mind, why all this sort of bad organization was going on. So I just put it down to them perhaps being inexperienced with dealing with people coming from Australia, and they didn't really know how long things took in our country, and thought that maybe they had a better idea of how things were going on in other countries, and they were just inexperienced in dealing with Australians. That was how I rationalized it.